Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Wait, I know what you're thinking. Where can I get some of that sweet, sweet goods merchandise? I mean, you're right, it is very stylish and creatively designed. I'll tell you where. You can go to teespring.com. If you look in the description below, there'll be a link that'll take you to a website where you'll see all of the goods gear that we wear here on the show. Plus, you'll be like the kids say, lit, as they look at your fit. I have no idea what that means. Just go buy a shirt.
Kong bows to no one.
Hey guys, and welcome to the show. We are going to talk some trailer talk.
Yeah.
And we're talking Godzilla versus Kong.
Which is a film that we've been wanting since they did the
Monsterverse.
Yeah, I mean, when they decided to tie it together. So we had Godzilla, we had Kong Skull Island. From that particular point, we're like, when are they fighting?
King of the Monsters?
From that particular point, when are they fighting? When are they fighting? I mean, they just threw the other one in there. It's kind of like, all right. When are they fighting?
When you're looking at continuity, obviously the MCU is king.
Right.
But when you introduce this kind of monsterverse, I mean, you're really, anticipating some pretty good destruction, some pretty good monster fights here. You know, so many kaiju out there, from Godzilla to Kong to Ghidorah to Rodan and so forth.
Right.
And you have so many to choose from. So why not start it with the big bad? You got Godzilla #1, right?
Right.
Then you go with King Kong. You already know right there in those sequences.
Right.
You already know who the two alphas are.
Right.
King
So-
of the Monsters, you had the alpha.
I feel like
and
King of the
Ghidorah.
Monsters was just kind of building us up for this
Correct.
particular film.
Correct.
Right.
So let's talk about this trailer, because this was probably the best trailer I've seen in a long
It
time.
got me so excited,
Yeah.
excited because I mean, like, if you're a fan of obviously of Godzilla films or even King Kong films, you are aware that there was a 1962
1962.
Godzilla or King Kong versus Godzilla, because
Right.
they reversed it this time. And that one was just kind of a play of like saying, like, what if we did this and we invited King Kong to come play in the Godzilla universe, and even though it was very low budget, it's still, as a kid when you saw it, you were like, hey, that's really awesome that we got to do something like this. So now with this level of technology and CGI, to see something like this go on, it was like even better. And what they showed us in the trailers, I did not expect to get this much. I thought we were gonna get like a little teaser, kind of like him standing there and another standing there, and then kind of like a what's that, like, where they do like a Rocky thing where they're just like,
Oh yeah, right. And the painting.
that type of thing. And I was like, I thought we were
face.
gonna get that, and that was gonna be it. But for them to show us as much as they showed us in this particular trailer, I'm ready to see this film.
Okay, one. Let's not have another trailer.
All right, they're going to.
I know, but honestly,
There's a
I'm
reason why
satisfied.
there's a reason why they're gonna BVS this thing. Where, like, in BVS, the first trailer was just Batman and Superman, and then we got to Ninja Turtle trailer
Ninja Turtle.
when we got Doomsday.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna get a Doomsday trailer eventually. Eventually, we're gonna get a Doomsday trailer.
All right, let's go back to what you were talking
All right.
about first, 1962. All right. Some would say that. Some could say that it was like the beginning of, as far as continuity and the bringing of the crossover that we
Crossover?
needed. You know, one of the first crossovers.
I
that you've
wouldn't
seen,
say
if you
that
really think
because
about
we
it.
had a lot of
Oh, you're right. You're right.
like the Dracula,
The Dracula versus werewolf thing. You're
and stuff.
absolutely right. Lon
It's
Chaney,
like,
Bela Lugosi, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
we
absolutely
had
right.
too many of those. So
You're right.
That's not the first.
You're right.
Yeah.
But it was in there.
Right.
It's one of the early ones, right? And then you have I would say the nationality standpoint as far as East versus West.
I agree with that.
In a lot of ways,
It was an East versus West.
It's an East versus West type of thing. So
Because
you have
he
that.
was the Western version of King Kong represented the Western version
Right.
of he was our monster.
Right.
And then Godzilla was the Eastern monster
Right.
at that point.
Right.
So
So so that was that looked like that was more focused on that part.
Right.
This one is straight up monster carnage, monster action,
Yes.
all about the alpha. Don't matter what East or West.
Right.
Just the alpha.
Right.
They in King of the Monsters, they looked at that so much with King Ghidorah being one of those alphas, and he was done.
Right.
So, after that, so now you have the second one,
Right.
the real alpha, which
Right.
is Kong. So trailer starts out with the explosion in the city
Right.
from the mountain. And then you have people running down. Is that Mechagodzilla there? You see some metallic there at the top of the stairs. Is that
are we talking about that?
Mechagodzilla?
Are we talking about that right now?
We're gonna talk about it right now because
Okay.
that's one of the first images that you see in the trailer.
Okay.
Okay, so you see that.
All right.
You don't have to answer that yet. After that, you got the Navy fleet.
Yes.
You have a Navy fleet in the ocean, and it looks like it's transporting a sedated Kong.
Right.
Going back to what you were saying, much like they did in the 1962 version, where
Right.
they used the berries.
Yeah. The little floaty balloons.
Berries.
The little floaty balloons.
Yeah. So Kong awakens now. He awakens and he notices the shackles.
Right.
Kind of doesn't like being shackled, obviously.
Right.
Why they sought out for him
That's my question.
Is the question,
Right.
for one. Two, when you look at the paper clippings at the end of King of the Monsters, you see that all of the Titans are drawn to Skull Island.
Right.
So that means that Monarch is probably still drawn to Skull Island.
Right.
I'm looking at freaking Skarsgård's character right now,
Uh-huh.
and I'm thinking, is that Hiddleston's son? Could that be?
That is a good question. All right, so I was thinking about that. I was like, why didn't they have Tom Hiddleston in it? Because Tom Hiddleston's character was in the 70s, so his character would literally be about 70 or 80 at this point. So it was like he would be super old. I didn't think about that it could be his son.
Could that be his son? Yeah, exactly.
I
So
think that would make the universe too small to make him a son. It was like
I would like it because the only one, aside from John Goodman's character and Dr. Dre, is
He's the only one that
that's-
survives that
that's
can actually
scenic,
have
and
some
Brie
kids.
Larson, and who knows?
Maybe it's Brie Larson's son.
Brie Larson's son. We never knew her last name, right?
Right.
So, or did we?
It wasn't
I think we
Skarsgård.
did.
It wasn't Skarsgård. Because
But-
we don't know his name.
But okay, so he's in there, and he obviously knows who Kong is and all of
Alright.
that. The setup there I don't like because you really don't know why Kong? Why?
Wait, another thing about it. What if he's the son from the guy who went back and he wanted the burger and he wanted to get back with his ex-girlfriend? What if he's the son that was there?
Oh my God.
What if he's the son? That's amazing. What if he's the son?
Okay, so you got the orphan girl also.
All right.
She obviously has a connection with Kong. I don't like that.
All right. So
There's a reason. I don't know what it is,
when
but I think it's
when I saw it, I thought they were thinking. I felt like it was the Mothra thing, where like the little fairy girls.
Then why isn't that?
I know.
Jing-
But
Yi-
we also had to do the whole thing with Kong, where it's like it has to be like a woman that Kong's like infatuated with. So it made it a little girl. So it's like they take the little fairy thing and the blonde white woman that they normally do in Kong films, and they make it into a little Asian girl
That has the bond.
Yeah, it's like that has a bond with Kong. So you had to have something that would attract his attention to lure him off the island.
and she is a part of this tribe
Right.
that John C. Reilly was around back in the 70s, and she's the last remaining.
That's what I was trying to think of. John C. Reilly's
Yeah.
adopted son.
Oh yeah. so she's the last of that tribe, maybe. Which is
Oh,
why-
okay, that could be cool. Why he has a connection with him,
Right.
right? Because he's been protecting him, right?
Exactly, and so since all of these kaiju were drawn to Skull Island at the end of King of the Monsters, maybe that wiped out those people.
Well, we do see the scene where he's still fighting creatures that are attacking the island, where he's like the little winged snake things.
We're gonna
that
get
are
to
coming
that.
out. Okay.
We're gonna get to that. Okay, so now Godzilla's time, and
Alright.
he's approaching the fleet,
Right.
Jaws style,
Right.
and you are looking the point of view, which I love this shot,
Right.
of the point of view of Godzilla's dorsal fins going
Through the water. Yeah.
through the water, approaching,
Yes.
and boom, goes right through the ship.
Right. So the scene itself, because it turns into where like he attacks them and then they have to like retaliate against him. I wonder the fact that it's a whole military moving Kong. It really like what are they doing with him? What are they doing with him? But the fact that how was Godzilla drawn to that ship? Because he's been traveling or like traversing these little tunnels and stuff like that. What about Kong being on this particular carrier that made him decide he wanted to come over that particular way? So,
Right. And so you got the fighter jets that fire at him.
Right.
They have no effect.
Of course, it's Godzilla.
It's Godzilla. So then you have Kong, and he awakens, right? And he's looking down. He's looking at the water, and he's roaring.
Right.
And then, boom! Godzilla comes out of to the surface, gets on him, or pushes him or punches him, whatever. And then he climbs aboard, which is awesome. I freaking love that part. But as bulky as Godzilla is, could he really bring his fat ass aboard?
He's like, hold on,
Hold on,
give me a second. Give me a second. So that's one of the great things about this film, where it's like where Godzilla has his radioactive breath. He's like his hide or his skin is very indestructible. So you have to give Kong some type of advantage, and it's going to be his mobility.
And his brain.
And his brain, right? So it's going to be his mobility. I do like the fact, but in that same shot where like they show Kong jump off of the carrier, and then the blast comes up as he's jumping
Not
up.
yet.
All right, we're not talking about that.
Not yet.
So if we're talking about just the fact that they face off, that first little face off,
He
where
pulls
they show
himself up, and then you see the wide shot, which
Right.
I love about it. You see the wide shot of Kong punching Godzilla right in the face.
So we're gonna get to see more action.
Then he dumps him.
Right.
He dumps him off in the water.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, we're talking about the blast.
No, not yet. He dumps him in the water.
But just in itself.
You're talking about the action.
It's just the action itself. So like from the first Godzilla, we didn't get to see anything, right?
Right.
The second for
You didn't see Godzilla.
for
You didn't even see Godzilla in that first one.
for King of the Monsters, I'm gonna say Final Wars, but for King of the Monsters, we got to see way more. But I still feel like they kind of hid Godzilla till the end, right? It was more about like all the other characters. So this, at least in this trailer, they're showing us we're gonna get a lot of Godzilla action,
Yeah.
right?
So he pushes him in the water, then they drop the torpedoes, and then Godzilla looks up and he bursts the
Right.
flame, and then he goes McClane.
To Die Hard with the AK-47.
So
I had not thought about that until you brought it up right now.
So
but it's totally Die Hard.
So Kong McClane jumps off.
Hey, he's barefoot too.
He's barefoot. So he jumps off. The carrier blows up.
Yeah.
And he blasts the fire. And
have you seen the picture or meme that somebody posted after that? They were like, they showed the back of Kong and all his hair is burnt off.
So now they start showing a charge status graph.
Yes. Okay.
And you see the background, and it is Mechagodzilla. I mean, it is so obvious
For what we assume.
that it's Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, because it's like it's a charged up status, and then it's like a robotic Godzilla that's there.
Right.
So.
And that is actually Serizawa's son.
Really?
That is Serizawa's son. So who's to say that he did not build this thing to get revenge on the thing that killed his father?
Okay.
To where Serizawa knew what Godzilla was as a protector. Obviously, the son doesn't.
Right.
He doesn't know any of
just
that.
killed my father.
You killed my father. Exactly. So who's to say? I'm not saying that's what's happening, but it looks that way.
I'll wait till you finish going through the trailer itself, and I'll talk about that aspect.
Okay, so being that you have that graph in the back that it's charging, could that also be part of the Orca technology that is controlling Godzilla? Because there's parts in the trailer where they're trying to understand what is making Godzilla do this.
Right.
Because he's been protecting them so much. Why is he being provoked? And they ask that in the trailer as well. If Apex has gotten any kind of access to the Orca technology from Vera Farmiga's character and enhanced it to where they have complete mind control over it, what do you think?
So with the whole Orca technology, it was like, for them to just kind of forget about it in this whole franchise would be ridiculous, right?
Correct.
So if we're gonna say that we're gonna control Godzilla, it's gonna be through that. But I feel like because we hadn't really talked about the reason why they would pull King Kong off of the island. It's because they want to try to put him, and they feel like King Kong would be the creature that could actually put up a fight and actually take Godzilla out. And then we'll get into, and they're using the call to direct him to Godzilla, to direct Godzilla to King Kong in order to engage the fight.
Okay, don't you think that that's how they should have started the trailer? And maybe then...
Because they're not trying to reveal that right now. This is basically a full length.
But I'm talking about as far as
This is a teaser trailer that's 2 minutes long, and normally teaser trailers like around a minute. So this is a 2-minute long teaser trailer.
Okay. Now you have Godzilla destroying the city.
Right.
Which right now, if it is...
And I'm okay with them doing this. The fact that it's like, hey, we're provoking him to do these things, but because at the end of 2, he kind of got looked at as a hero.
Yes.
He stopped all of these particular creatures that were destroying the world, so with that he ended that. So if we now make him a villain, then the public opinion turns, and then now we have to come up with a reason that, or we have to show them this is the way we're now dealing with it.
It really is BVS.
It is BVS. Dude, it's totally BVS, but it's BVS in a sense that it's a comic book scenario in general.
So they're really going to say Mothra. Why did you say that name?
Kong goes, Mothra.
Why did you say that name?
But that's just a comic book trope to begin with. It was like like comic books went on all the time. It was like, hey, they would show you 2 heroes, and it was like, such and such Spider-Man versus Captain America, fight to the death, and you're like, oh my God, what happened? Did you buy the issue? And they were like, oh, they fight for like 1 page, and then they took on Green Goblin. And that's how BVS happened, and that's how. Sorry, Optimus. That's how this is gonna happen.
Hilarious.
So I like the fact that, like, if it is the Orca thing, that's how they're manipulating him to be this.
And I would prefer that as opposed to, well, you know what, we'll talk about that in a minute. I don't want to get into that yet. Okay, let's talk about the, now you have the tracking sheet. You have the tracking sheet similar to, you know, when you're doing detective work and you have all of these different things.
You have the yarns.
Yeah, you got the yarns and you got
thumbtacks.
all these connections. And what do you got? You got Apex facilities.
Right.
You have Godzilla sightings. You have Godzilla attacks. You have all of these different news clippings and everything that pretty much show the entire outlook as far as Godzilla's path and the different things that contribute to him, which is Apex.
Right.
So you have all of that. You think that's going to have some clues in there, like hardcore clues? You think that's going to help them?
They're basically going to just establish Apex as the kind of like the adversary to Monarch.
Okay.
So Monarch is kind of like, hey, we're like interested in studying these kaijus, and we want to make sure that like they're protected, and you know we know more about it. Apex is because even when
so it's turning now. It's turning.
I can't want to say Final Wars, but King of the Monsters, where they were talking about like, hey, there's other organizations that want to use these kaijus to their ends.
So it's turned to Jurassic World.
Yes.
They want to weaponize them,
yes.
And the other ones want to.
I mean, because
them.
if you could control a kaiju, then you could basically control the world at that point, right?
True.
I mean, because if you could control Godzilla, what country is going to stop you?
Right. That's true. Okay. Yeah. All right. So the one of the main characters comes out and says that the myths are real. That there really was a war between the Titans.
The myths are real.
The myths are real.
We're 3 movies in.
Yeah.
Of course, the myths are real.
You see this thing over here?
There's been monsters ravaging.
It's real. All right. Now here's the thing that I liked about it.
All right.
One of the things that when we used to talk about, I know it's a different topic, but
when
we talk about Transformers and sometimes the human, or when you're dealing with these non-human characters, the human characters actually overpower and overtake the screen time and all this other stuff.
So you feel from this trailer, it feels like it will be more.
Yes, okay. I feel that that now the humans were really going to take their secondary spot because they are not. Well, I'm hoping.
I've watched many Godzilla films where I feel like it's going to be like Godzilla like 90% of the film, and then it's a lot of like random dialogue about like how they're going to stop Godzilla, like what they're going to do, and
Godzilla 2014. And now I'm starting to understand that was the Batman Begins of the Monsters.
That's Batman Begins.
You know, because Batman Begins was boring as hell until the end. All right. So anyway, you know, it's giving you all these subtleties of what the rest of this monster universe is all about. You know, Kong filled in the rest, and then King of the Monsters gave you a little bit more. Now this one's basically gonna give it to you flat out in your face.
Okay.
So I get that part. But now what I was gonna say was, you look at a trilogy like the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
From Rise to Dawn to War.
Right.
Those human characters were basically non-existent, to be honest with you.
They were just kind of help the plot move along, but they weren't really the focus.
They focused on Caesar and everybody else, and that's why that trilogy is probably, I'm going to say, top 5 trilogies of all time. Right. So with this one, that's what it looks like, and here's why I say that: because of the introduction, I think, and a lot of people out there on YouTube, the introduction of the Hollow Earth.
Okay. And
the Hollow Earth is basically where the kaijus really are. They have not approached the surface.
This is kind of like the Monster Island.
Yes, it is the monster. Exactly, it is the Monster Island, but it is within the Earth.
Okay.
It is not. They have not gone to surface yet.
I would feel like we should just cross this over with Pacific Rim.
Right? So
we should just cross this over with Pacific Rim.
So when you see those winged snake-like creatures that you're talking about,
because even in Skull Island, it was like they came from up under the ground, right?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So when you were talking about those winged snake
skull
creatures,
crawlers, right?
Yeah, the skull crawlers. Because it sounds cool.
Yeah.
When he swings one and hits the other with it, he's actually in Hollow Earth, not Skull Island.
Really?
That's what I've heard. That's what I see, and it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
There is another scene.
I mean, but there'd be no reason for them to do that when we have already established that these creatures come up to Skull Island.
There is a reason, and here's the reason.
Okay.
You've noticed that a lot of these kaiju glow.
Okay.
Ghidorah was yellow, and so forth. Godzilla was blue, right? So you see this glow. When Kong, and you look at the trailer again, Kong is standing on a portrait, almost a painting or a drawing of Godzilla in blue glow.
Okay.
And he's holding the axe.
Uh-huh.
So these two have fought before, the species, not him, but the species have fought before, which is why you see the skeleton, not saying that they killed him, but the skeleton from the previous Godzilla, that's what they're walking in 2014. When they're walking,
that's Godzilla. That's not a skull crawler.
It's an actual Godzilla. It's not the Godzilla, but it's one of his ancestors or his parents, whoever it is.
Okay.
But you have that. Kong goes to Hollow Earth to get that axe.
All right, so I heard something different about the axe.
Okay, but we'll talk. The axe is made of Godzilla's spine.
Right.
Of his spike.
Uh-huh.
That's why it can absorb Godzilla's atomic breath when he's jumping at him.
Okay.
It's absorbing it because it's part of him. It's actually part of Godzilla. Okay. So now they're fighting in the city.
All right.
What do you got on that scene? You got to admire the freaking neon, but go ahead.
I do. It's like just that scene itself is like when he's coming out with the axe. Like if Godzilla just like moves his head just a little bit, this fight's over.
But basically,
if he just moves his head just a little bit, this fight's over. And it's like breath, you're blocking there. You're not blocking there. Boom, it's over. But I like the fact that it's not gonna be like a wasteland or something like this. Like I want to see like actual destruction. So one of the things I liked from Godzilla King of the Monsters is that while they were fighting, everybody had to like deal with the destruction that was going on.
Especially boss.
Like when Rodan came in and was just
that was
and
nasty.
Yeah, exactly. So I like to see that destruction from the old Toho films, right?
Toho, not Toei.
I always get it messed up. From the old Toho films, you had Godzilla coming through, and you had Gigan and Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla, whatever. They were destroying a city, even though because of the low budgetness of it, you didn't really have the stakes of it. And it's like, oh, we destroyed a city. You knew no people were in that fake city. But in this setting, it was like when they destroy a city, it's kind of like, oh crap, what's gonna go on? So I like the fact that they're doing this, kind of like how I like when in Man of Steel where
with Zod
and Batman, not Batman, Zod and Superman fighting. It's like you got to see the destruction that would happen if these two particular people would fight. I like to see the destruction that would happen when those particular creatures would fight. So I like that part of it. I don't like the axe thing where he's just like coming down. All Godzilla had to do was, you're dead.
I thought where you were going with was sometimes in those fights they end up like in the country or something, in a mountain or they're
they always end so like a bunch of mountains and stuff like that.
Yeah, they always end up away from everybody.
But they always start in a city.
They start there, but they always end up somewhere else. But anyway, okay, so now they're both fighting in the city. Kong brings the axe down, and then the trailer is done.
Yeah.
You already said if he moves, okay, great.
This fight would be over.
So now
you'd be smelling ape hair right now.
So now let's go to the callback we were talking about earlier. Where does Mechagodzilla fit in? Are you gonna feel cheated Because I will feel cheated if it's not Godzilla at all through the whole fight. That I would ful cheated.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be Godzilla.
It should be Godzilla.
It's definitely gonna be Godzilla. But here's the thing.
But I think Mecha should come later.
I feel. All right, so look, I've watched both, or like 3, I think they've done of Mechagodzilla, or technically 4 if you count Final Wars. So they did Mechagodzilla, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, and then they did the remake.
And then the Super, wasn't it the Super Ghidorah? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Never mind. I'm thinking of something else. Never mind. You're right.
So in the original ones, in the original first 2, they were aliens. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, we're gonna bring our robotic Godzilla, come down here to Earth, fight Godzilla, blah blah. And in the remake, they made it more like the government. It's like Godzilla is still the villain in the remakes. So they were like, we have to fight Godzilla. We're gonna make a robotic Godzilla. It's a stupid premise, but anyway. So they made a robotic Godzilla, and so I assume in this particular situation that they're gonna do that, where they're gonna make the government or Apex make a robotic Godzilla. It's very like. Just the whole premise itself doesn't make any sense. Why don't you do something that has like longer arms and that actually makes sense to fight him? But it's like we're gonna do the duplicate of the Godzilla. So I assume that they're gonna do that. But
don't cross out.
I feel like Mechagodzilla needs his own film. But this is how I felt about Cheetah.
Okay.
Cheetah needed her own film. Mechagodzilla needs his own film.
Don't cross out a Mecha Ghidorah because Apex has the head.
You regrow.
No, I'm saying, but he has the head, and they can use the genetics, the DNA. They can use a lot of things on it. When you were talking about one of the versions of Mechagodzilla, you had one that actually had the skin of Godzilla that was burned off, and then it revealed his true form.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I say that it's a possibility that one of these is not the real him.
I feel like, okay, so that's so hokey. I don't do that.
I don't like that either.
I don't like that either. I'm going to accept
it's going to be a team up at the end.
It's going to be a team up. I accept the fact that they have to fight somebody. And all right, they already did Ghidorah. I mean, who's Gigan? No. No.
That's like one of my favorite villains.
Like the hooks.
Freaking Saw right
Biolante. I
No,
mean, it's like he already fought Mothra. Gamera.
Destroyer.
Yeah, so I feel like the studio said like, hey, look, we got to do a big name, just like they had to do with BVS. We got to do Doomsday. We got to do Mechagodzilla. Though I feel like Mechagodzilla by itself, probably should have its own film.
Okay. If this is a straight up, first of all, one of the things that was mentioned that I kind of liked a lot was the night scenes are very well lit.
Oh, so you don't have to say I can't see it. Okay,
right.
Cool.
When you look at Godzilla 14, it was really hard to see him fight the Mutos.
Right.
Okay, so King of the Monsters was a little bit...
Why have they not brought the Mutos back?
They brought it back in King of the Monsters. There was one Muto that bowed.
Oh, at the end. At the end.
So, and King of the Monsters was a little bit better lit, but it was still kind of dark.
Because everybody was complaining that you couldn't see Godzilla.
So now, it's very well lit. And that's actually one of the things that I like about it as far as from the cinematography
standpoint. They're going to give this old school Toho where it's like every fight's in the daytime.
yeah, that'd be cool too. All right. Do you think that the pulse, the radioactive pulse that turned him nuclear, that killed Ghidorah in the first place, is affecting him too? Which is why he's.
But didn't he get that from Mothra though? Oh no, he got it from the explosion. That's why they brought it back, right?
Yes. He became nuclear. So do you think that has any kind of effect on him?
I think they're going to lean into the Apex thing.
All right, so we'll see how that goes. All right. Now, finally, okay, so overall, the trailer looked fantastic.
Right, yes.
I'm excited for it. I know you are.
Until we get that Doomsday trailer.
Until we get the Doomsday trailer, which we're not. We're going to have to stick with Kong McLean.
Oh my God, can somebody make that?
Who do you got?
All right, so... Just like
let's just go flat out. Godzilla versus Kong. Who you got?
I mean, just on paper, Godzilla all the way. But just like they did in BVS, you have to make it an equal battle. You have to say like Kong's a threat, and Kong's a threat by being more agile
and smart.
And
smarter.
Is he smarter?
Yes.
He's
got the when
because he's a primate. He's us, right?
Yes. So his brain is bigger than Godzilla's.
Okay.
They actually show the diagram in King Kong versus Godzilla.
Okay.
That because he's a primate, his intelligence is higher.
Okay.
Because Godzilla's brain is smaller because he's more of a reptile.
Okay. So on paper, Godzilla should win hands down. But because it's a movie where you have to make it balanced and make him a real threat, that's why they upped his size. That's why in the trailer you see him.
Well, he was still growing.
Yeah,
in
it's like
Epic's
we
skull.
talked. John C. Reilly explained that. So that's why they have the size. That's why they made him very agile in this trailer. It was like he's jumping, he's moving, he's John McClane in it.
That's right. McClane in it, baby.
So
Kong hard.
he's. Oh my God! I feel like I want to spend some time and make that. I feel like I want to spend some time and make that.
Kong hard.
Kong hard. Anyway, so that's why. So the first time that they fight, it's definitely gonna be Kong. No, I'll take it back. So the first time they meet, Kong's gonna punch him. Kong's gonna McClane it and get out of there, right? The second time they meet, Kong's gonna outright win that fight, all right?
Because he's going to be on a mission going to Hollow Earth to get that axe.
He's gonna outright win that fight. Then they're gonna do that whole like Godzilla's not that phase. Mechagodzilla's gonna appear, and then they're gonna have to deal with the fact that it's like, oh, let's take on Mechagodzilla, because they want to make it seem as balanced as possible. But for me, Godzilla's gonna win all the way, right?
Okay.
Godzilla's gonna be the reason why Mechagodzilla's gonna be destroyed.
I'm a Godzilla fan, so I'm rooting for Godzilla.
Right.
But if I had to go, it's gonna have to be Kong.
So here's another.
Because he's too freaking smart.
Here's another reason why I feel like it's gonna be Godzilla, because I don't think we're gonna get a I don't think we're gonna get a Kong 2.
King Kong lives, eh? Lyndon Hamilton back.
I don't think we're getting a sequel to Kong. I think this Kong was set up just to do this movie.
He's the Hulk of this.
Yeah,
Never gonna get a standalone ever again.
He's the Man of Steel.
He's the Man of Steel. That's right.
He's the Man of Steel. Look, we're not gonna get a Kong 2. We're gonna continue to get Godzilla because he's got more of a rogues gallery, right? We know all of Godzilla's villains. King Kong has no villains. Man, that's it. That's it.
White girls.
It's man and white girls. Man, white girls, and dinosaurs. That's it. That's all they got.
Oh, man. All right, so tell us what you think of the Kong trailer. Who you got? Do you got Godzilla? Do you got Kong? Who's your pick? Who's the tell of the tape? You see everybody? I mean, you see everything that they are all about? Who do you got in the fight straight up? No Mechagodzilla, no Gigan, no nobody, just them two. Who do you got? Leave it in the comments below. Terrence, take us home.
Be on the lookout. I might do Kong Hard, or what was the other one?
Kong Hard with a Vengeance?
No, what was the other one he said?
I can't remember.
I might do one of those pictures, so just look on the Facebook. It might pop up.
Kong Hard. All right. Take us home.
But also, too, hey, tell us what you thought about the trailer itself. I've been talking about it online with people on Facebook, because when I posted it on Facebook, people have been hitting me up with comments. So I've been talking to you guys about it. But tell us more in the YouTube because of the algorithms. Also, to make sure you go and subscribe, as well as click the notification button, so that way you're aware of all of our other trailer talk, because as movies kind of sort of want to release HBO Max, we will talk about the trailers that do come out, and we'll need your help to help break them down.
Absolutely. So for Aspen and Art, wherever the hell they're at, and Carla, wherever the hell she's at, I'm Manny.
I'm Terrence.
And we'll see you next time.
Real quick, if you're still here, because we do these into the video little blooper things. If you're still here, look down. There's a link here for Patreon. If you guys like the show, please give us money. We'll take a penny. We'll take a nickel. We'll take a dime. We'll take $1.